Hold on, brother, I'm talking.
What is up, guys? Welcome to my channel, AJ's Corner. I'm AJ. This is just a quick recap of the UFC Fight Night, the amazing boxing we saw for the Undisputed, and some BKFC antics. This is like my 10th time of doing this now because I keep cocking it up. I'm a total boomer when it comes to technology, but I'm trying, so bear with me. Let's get into it. Junior Taffa versus Sean. These are just my notes. Junior Taffa, I wrote these as I was watching the fights. Junior Taffa versus Sean Sharaf. Sloppiest heavyweight fight I've seen in a long time. It was funny, but really just embarrassing. These two guys should kind of be ashamed of themselves, the shape they're in. I don't care if you just come out of the hospital, let alone not in a training camp. You should not be fighting 30 seconds and being absolutely gassed. It was shameful, pathetic, shambolic, ridiculous, bamboozling. I could go on all day. The commentators were laughing their heads off at just how embarrassing, pathetic it was. I mean, someone like Bisping as well, the kind of cardio he had and how he says about cardio, how he feels about cardio being the most important weapon you have. I mean, he must have just been dying inside thinking these guys are pathetic. And Bisping had trained with the guy. When I saw him come out with Strickland, Sharaf, I thought, oh, all right, this guy could be like a Cain Velasquez type, 4-0, coming in, no one will fight him. Boy, was I wrong. Both guys shouldn't be in UFC. They're not even close to UFC level. 15 years ago, or say when Matt Hughes was champion, them sort of days, back in those days, I know it was a long time ago, but you would never see a fight this bad. Or like, you might see two guys gas, but they wouldn't be this low skilled and they wouldn't gas this quick, and it'd be because they're at altitude. They're in Las Vegas, sea level more or less. It's pathetic in the apex. I mean, it is just one of the most embarrassing fights I've ever seen in my life, and it's just like if you just got one of your mates around who doesn't really watch UFC, doesn't necessarily like it, doesn't really know much about it, and you're like, let's go, come watch the fights, and they come around and they see that, they're gonna laugh. They're gonna say, this isn't even a real sport. These aren't even athletes. Like, these are chumps. And what could you say to that? Garimbo Price was disappointing. Nico Price has had a lot of fights and is showing. He is washed like an old jumper. Nothing more to say there. Garimbo's a boring ass fighter. Pat Sabatini did an Aljo versus Sandhagen. It was shocking. I picked JSP to win. I think if they rematched there and then, Pat Sabatini might have still won, but I don't think he would have got it that easy. I think he just took him by surprise and just, man, and fair play to him. Can't argue with it. It was a good win, a real good win. I'll be keeping an eye on him in the future. He's going to go places. D-Rod saved his ass and his career. It was a bad first round. Second and third were much better, but still, man, the guy who came with such promise, such hype, and seemed so good, he just really dropped off. I mean, he was on a 3-fight skid, I think he said. But yeah, man, I don't really see where he goes from here. I mean, even after a win, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's sad because he really looked like he could do something. He looked like he'd be like a top 10 guy, top 15 guy. It is what it is. Temerov, the Uzbek, I picked him to win and by knockout, and man, Vergara was concussed so bad when the referee was calling the winner. He was doing this. He was that concussed. He just, in his head, he just reset and thought he'd won the fight. But I mean, the way Temerov was going, I thought, is he going to gas out but a flyweight in the first round? No. And he's a really small flyweight. I was thinking, God, this guy could probably fight 105 pounds at atomweight if the UFC had that division, which they probably will eventually. But yeah, man, it's crazy. That guy's a contender, and we got a new contender. Flyweight is in the healthiest, best position it's been in a long time, and we got no Figueiredo, no Triple C, no Demetrius, the three sort of main guys of the division. They're all gone, especially Triple C and Demetrius. They are the two main guys, aren't they? I mean, man, that's yeah, the flyweight division is looking pretty hot right now. It's hotting up, and yeah, I'm excited. Grant Dawson is back. It was a great win. Hafagasia did have his knee completely rebuilt, but on the ground, the kid's a menace. Post-fight interview was amazing. I mean, he bloodied the guy up. He was ruthless. I mean, one of those elbows reminded me of Moicano when I was in Paris the other week and just smashing him to pieces when he smashed Benoit underneath the pieces. But he's fully back, and I fully endorse his post-fight interview. That's the kind of thing I can get behind. That's the kind of thing people want to hear. Bouncing quarters of his Mrs. Heine. Exciting. I can't wait to see him in his next fight. I think put him against Paddy Pimblett or Jalen Turner, someone on the fringe of the top 15, because obviously last time against Bobby, the last time he fought a ranked guy against Bobby, it didn't go great for him. But I think that was just, you got caught cold early and that can happen. Chitty Bang Bang versus Gooden. I picked Gooden to win because I thought with his piss poor takedown defense and piss poor ground game, it would be as unraveling. But Batista can learn a thing or two from these guys, how to have a reasonably exciting fight up against the cage. Chitty doing nice elbows, upward elbows, 6 to 12 like that, and stuff like that. Referee didn't even have to threaten to step in. He didn't even have to warn him to work. They worked. Decent fight. Like I said, Batista can learn, and this is why the main reason I was writing my notes. Brad Tavares gets a knockdown straight away. Still nowhere near finishing. He's got 2 submissions and 5 knockouts in his career. The 2 submissions were before UFC. 3 of the knockouts were before UFC. So yeah, you heard right. 15 years in UFC, 2 finishes ever. He's got no submissions in UFC, and he hasn't been submitted ever in his career. But he's got 2 knockout wins in UFC, but been knocked out 5 times in UFC. I mean, you've got a knockout deficit of 3. And there's 2 knockouts. The 1 knockout I've got to hear. So he's had 30 fights. Yeah? His knockout was against Phil Baroni, who was 13-12 back in 2011. January 1st as well it was. So it's basically, you could say 2010. You would say basically 15 years ago he knocked out an old Phil Baroni who'd probably been on the nose beers and hookers the night before in Vegas or wherever the fight was. Who was probably washed to hell. Well, he would have been washed to hell. After that fight, Baroni's record would have been 13-13. 500 fighter. He was 13-12 when he fought him, so I wouldn't even count that knockout. And then his only other knockout was him 7 years later against Christoph Jotko, who fights scared sometimes, so he doesn't want to be hit. So, which was 7 years ago. So he's had a knockout 7 years ago, a knockout 15 years ago, and that's it. He's been in UFC 15 years and only finished 2 fighters. I mean, that is insane. No wonder he's beaten Bisping's record for cage time. Because the guy's going to goddamn decisions every goddamn time. I mean, it's a thing not to be sneered at having a UFC career the last 15 years, because people usually do wash out and stuff like that. But I mean, his finishing ability or lack thereof is just insane. And like I said, knocking out an old Phil Baroni is just, I mean, he would have been washed then. If you want to see a good knockout, go and watch Phil Baroni versus I think it was Dave Monnett. Back in the day, Dave Monnett, one of the first or second UFC, might have been the first actually. Dave Monnett, was he the first? I'm not sure. But he was one of the first UFC middleweight champions ever, back in the days of Evan Tanner, and before Rich Franklin this was. He was a good fighter, Dave Monnett, too. What's it called? He knocks him out, he keeps him up against the cage. Crazy. But yeah, that is just insane work for Brad Tavares to be 15 years in UFC and only 2 knockouts. I mean, even just by fluke, guys who don't have knockout power, they get it. Do you know what I mean? They get those fights. There's a guy I'm forgetting as well. I want to shout him out. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He's like the first guy to be like a proper rounded fighter. I can't think of his name now. I really do my things. Begins with an M. Lineage, ex-middleweight champions. Yeah, tight lineage. You want to see Dave Monnett. Murillo Bustamante. I don't even need to find him. Murillo, I'll show you now. Murillo Bustamante. Well, here we go. Here's the lineage. Dave Monnett was the original. Yeah, Dave Monnett was the original champ. Beat Gil Castillo. Wow. 2001. And then Murillo Bustamante. Murillo Bustamante was he had the title for a while. He was one of the first guys to have sort of leg kicks and things like that. Murillo Bustamante is an absolute legend. So it was Dave Monnett, Murillo Bustamante, Evan Tanner, then Rich Franklin. Yeah, I'm probably boring you guys, but yeah, man, it was an epic knockout. I'm getting off key here, but back to the main event. Royval, good round 1. Round 2, total domination with the backpack. I hate it when the smaller fighters, the bantamweights and the flyweights get that back control because they just hold it and it's just a round in the bag. Round 3, he had him out 2 different times. He could have finished the fight, but he just let off, and then not just let off, actually did stupid mistakes, made stupid decisions, which I get it, you're in there, you're going wild, but I know the smaller guys tend to go for submissions when they have guys hurt because they don't always get the knockout. If they hurt a guy, they'll still rather jump on a choke because it's more guaranteed of a finish, and they won't gas themselves out as much going for it. But I mean, man, it was pretty irritating, to be fair. To watch. It was pretty stressful. I was screaming at my TV. I mean, when he went for that stupid armbar and ended up on bottom, I was like, I can't believe it. Round 4, Tyra came out, fair play, he recovered well. I thought he was going to be gassed, and he managed to get the backpack again. Royval just, can't believe he did it. So it was basically another dominant round for round 4, backpack all the way again. So it was, round 1 and 3 for Royval. I mean, some judges could have given him a 10-8, in round 3, because, he had him close to being finished a couple of times and did a fair bit of damage. I'm not saying it was a 10-8 round, but now with the liberal 10-8 rounds, you couldn't argue it necessarily. So, what's it called? What was I saying? Royval comes out in the 5th round. Impressive. It was nip and tuck, but he did do enough to win it. Man, he didn't have to make it so difficult. He didn't have to make it so hard. He made an absolute meal of it. Man, he could have made it so much easier. If you were his teammates or he was coming in the corner like Alex Hernandez, you would have been screaming at the guy. The decisions he made at some points was just ridiculous. But he could have just made it so much easier and got himself a knockout win. But that Tyra proved he is elite. He is of that ilk, and he's going to be a future champion. He's upset. Everyone was watching in Japan. They're very prideful, very very honourable people. The honour means a lot to them. That's why he'd never quit. But man, he showed he got hard. He can take a beating, and the kid can fight. The kid can bang. He's only going to get better. 3-4 years, he's probably going to be champion. Do you know what I mean? Unless someone comes along like possibly that Uzbek guy, I think it's going to be those two fighting for the belt at some point. But that was just my thoughts on that, and just the boxing. A quick recap of the boxing. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen, ever. So technical. I've never seen a fight that was so technical that I enjoyed that much. You just thought at any minute anything could happen. Bivol stood his ground through combinations for long periods, which is what you shouldn't do against Beterbiev, apparently anyway, which made it exciting for the fans. It was really fun to watch. Me and my mate were screaming robbery, but realistically we both had it to Bivol by a round. A worst case a draw, but Bivol by a round. But then Bivol took the championship rounds off. Round 11, round 12, he threw the fight away, but he must have been absolutely gassed, because I was thinking, why would you throw the fight away at this point in the fight? Other than being gassed, so he must have been gassed to throw the fight away the way he did. But it was an amazing fight. I can't wait to see a rematch. Turkey said it's going to be a rematch, so Turkey says, Turkey does. There will be a rematch. I think Bivol won it though. Sometimes when there's a guy like Beterbiev who's such a beast and he's knocked everyone out, and then someone manages to go all the way with him, take him all the way, which is like a moral victory, and actually do good in the fight, you can sometimes overvalue that. But I genuinely think Bivol, I've only watched the fight once, I haven't watched it back, but I genuinely think Bivol won the fight by a round. So do most people are saying. And the reason I say robbery is because even though I only think he won it by a round, so technically, where boxing is quite subjective, you cannot say it's a robbery. It's because it's such an important fight. They're undefeated, it's for undisputed, and they're both undefeated. So in my mind, he has been robbed, because whether you win by an inch or a mile, as Vin Diesel says in The Fast and Furious, winning's winning, and Bivol won the fight, in my opinion. So he got robbed. And just one a bit of fun before I go. Show you guys something funny. Probably all seen it anyway. Look at this. This is Dave Feldman, the promoter for BKFC. Oh, my speakers are off. This is going to make you laugh.
We're going to do a bonus for this fight. We're going to do a bonus, Conor.
No. Listen. What we're going to do for these two gentlemen, as well as a bonus, is double the purse.
As well as the bonus, not just, forget the bonus, we're going to double our purse. No, as well as the bonus, we're going to double our purse.
Look at his face. As well as a bonus is double the purse. Again, double pay. That's it straight. Well done, gentlemen.
And look at Dan moving out his face now. Look at that. Look at Big Dan. Sniggling. Just loving it, laughing, because he knows that guy's just in a position. Like, McGregor is just hilarious, but he doesn't mean to be. McGregor doesn't even realise. He's just being McGregor, but this is just hilarious. He's so unintentionally funny at this stage of his career. It's unbelievable. He used to be really funny, like, with his clever wittiness. But I mean, he's just so mind shot now. He's just hilarious unintentionally, which is just even more funny, I think.
We're gonna do a bonus. For this fight. We're gonna do a bonus, Conor.
No.
Rags the
Listen,
mic.
what we're gonna do for these two gentlemen, as well as a bonus, is double their purse. Again.
He's like, oh my god, that's the DAZN money gone. He's like, I was gonna make my money because of DAZN, but now it's gone.
Double pay. That's.
We're gonna do a bonus, Conor.
No. Listen, what we're gonna do for these two gentlemen, as well as a bonus, is double their purse. Again, double pay. That's.
Oh man, that is hilarious. And look at this guy here.
Of performing in front of a live
I'll show you
audience,
this guy
especially in a coliseum.
Is a grappler. This guy looks about 5'4" and 120 pounds with a Patriot jacket on, a Patriot kid from Oxfam. Probably paid 10 grand for it. Probably paid 5 grand for that stupid mink hat as well. The schmo should have backhanded it off his
Where
head.
they do bullfighting.
No disrespect on this guy now.
The hospitality is man. That's it. You ain't gotta get that close to me.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah, guy's a dog. And McGregor versus Hooker. Yeah, I think that's a fight that we should see. I might do another video about that. But yeah, man, just a quick little update and my thoughts on the fight on the weekend. Peace.